Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 150 based on novel. So let's start. Virtual Universe Network, Heavenly Bridge. 3 silhouettes appeared on the beautiful island. They were all absolute warriors of the Virtual Universe Company. True Yang Emperor, Tong Nan Emperor, Jade Emperor. The Watchman Bevan bowed respectfully. Has Luo Feng's battle on the 3rd level already begun? Jade asked. It's just about to, he just reached the end of the 3rd level. The Watchman Bevan said. Bevan was the watchman of the entire Heavenly Bridge. He was the most familiar with everybody's conditions and progress. Even True Yang or Tong Nan Emperor, that level of absolute warriors, they couldn't immediately detect others battling on the bridge. They all relied on Bevan. Broadcast his battle situation. Jade emphasized. Yes. Bevan waved his hand and a 10 long and 8 wide screen immediately appeared. The footage on it was a heavenly bridge shrouded in white mist. Luo Feng was standing and staring at the mist. It's about to begin. Jade's eyes gleamed. Looking at his form, he seems confident. True Yang smiled, he probably isn't using close combat this time. Tong Nan replied. 3 absolute beings all watched the screen. Jade Emperor was watching under the orders of the 9-Blade Knight, monitoring the progress and prospects of the new batch. Tong Nan Emperor was simply following Jade and True Yang over to watch. True Yang was the one who truly wanted to watch this, as Luo Feng was a youth with good prospects from the 9-Universe Tablet sect. Let me see your progress from these 10 years. I knew you training in floating blood was the right choice. True Yang thought within. At the end of the 3rd level. I choose. Luo Feng looked at the mist before him, controller. The large mist before him reacted, just like the previous 2 levels. A black liquid flew out and immediately formed a black-clothed man. This one was on a dark cloud shuttle, carrying a golden long rod. His mask revealed his eyes that were locked on Luo Feng. You wish to pass the 3rd level. Right? Luo Feng smiled. Rumble, immediately golden energy rippled around him. The dark golden long rod behind him immediately shot out beams of gold light. This immediately formed 9 blades covered in light. These 9 blades acted as the foundation and resonated with each other, causing countless amounts of blade energy to emanate, almost like an army being directed. Nanshan Armament 3rd level, Heavenly Blade, also Blade Domain. Compared to before, Luo Feng was truly able to control this blade domain like his own arm. The energy within it gathered into one body. Heavenly Blade. The black-clothed man laughed coldly. Rumble, the black-clothed man's surroundings too began to fill with golden energy. In an instant, a similar blade domain was formed. The 2 round blade domains clashed time and again, causing large amounts of blade energy to ripple about. Don't think that just because you've passed the 2nd level, you can easily pass the 3rd. The black-clothed man stood far in mid-air, laughing. This 3rd level is much harder than the 2nd level. Go. He pointed at Luo Feng and immediately from the 9 blades within his blade domain, 8 of them united. The golden threads interweaved between them, becoming a huge blurry golden blade. Luo Feng's blade domain was immediately broken apart. The huge golden blade was like a huge ship steering past the waves. Go. Luo Feng pointed. The 9 blades around immediately gathered, a large amount of complex golden engravings interweaved, swiftly forming a huge golden blade. With a rumble, Luo Feng controlled the huge blade and matched the opponent's huge blade in mid-air. In the blink of an eye, they had exchanged over 1,000 times. Just relying on 8 blades into one, you think you can defeat me? Luo Feng looked at the black-clothed man in mid-air. Ha ha, no rush. With a maniacal laughter, since you are looking to die fast, I'll fulfill your wish. Immediately the final blade from around the black-clothed man joined the others into that huge blade, causing the huge blade to grow even more. Luo Feng and the black-clothed man both fused 9 blades. However, their outer layer had their differences. Luo Feng's size itself was larger, and the black-clothed man's huge blade seemed more condensed, with more golden threads. But it was overall smaller. You will lose. The black-clothed man's eyes burned with fire. Rumble. The 2 huge blades clashed again, and Luo Feng's blade was immediately knocked backwards. The black-clothed man immediately controlled his to pierce towards Luo Feng. Indeed, it's powerful. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. The dark cloud shuttle began to warp, and immediately the surroundings were filled with 100 of his images. The 100 images completely surrounded the area with a diameter of 1,000 m. Also, his unpredictable movement had reached an absurd level. Every dodge was extremely fast. Just like lightning, it made the opponent's huge golden blade completely unable to catch up to him, and Luo Feng simultaneously controlled his blade to block the opponent's rumble. Every clash, in terms of offense, Luo Feng seemed disadvantaged. However, in terms of movement, just relying on it alone, Luo Feng was able to dodge every attack. It was unbelievable. On the beautiful island, the tall and sturdy Truyang Emperor, the skinny Tongnan Emperor, the beautiful Jade Emperor all watched the broadcast on the screen and laughed. Ha ha, this punk, he is treating the Heavenly Bridge as a chance to learn and advance further. Truyang laughed loudly. Jade Emperor nodded, his movement has already reached the 3rd level. 100 threads. But just relying on this 100 thread level, he shouldn't be able to so easily dodge the Nanshan armament's attack. The main thing is Luo Feng. His movement has obviously begun to comprehend the foundation of the universe space law. Hence, every movement he makes resonates with that. Right, he's truly begun to understand it. Tongnan Emperor nodded. The foundation of the universe space origin law, he's gotten a glimpse of it already. Truyang smiled and nodded. What kind of level were these 3 people? They were all given the title emperors. They were beings that could immediately receive the title of eternal member within Primal Chaos City, far exceeding that General 13 from before, or the Yunmo Planet Master. If Luo Feng could be said to have begun to understand a bit of the foundation of the universe space law, then these 3 could be said to have reached the absolute foundation of either the space or time laws. They were just a little step away from completely understanding them fully, hence they could naturally see Luo Feng's progress. Touching a little of the foundation of the law. As long as he doesn't fall, his accomplishments in the future won't be bad at all. Jade Emperor smiled and complimented. Look at how beautiful his movement is. That arc movement is so clean and precise. It follows the time ripple arc. Truyang complimented and exclaimed, even that Bolin, studying both time and space, his movement was able to produce close to 10,000 images. Yet, that arc isn't as perfect and precise. Jade nodded and smiled. Luo Feng was using the 100 threads movement. With the grasp he had on the space law foundation, every time the opponent's golden huge blade pierced towards him, he would follow the most perfect and optimal route to dodge. Almost like the undercurrent of the ocean, using the least energy and method to swim. His 9 blades converged into one. When compared to mine, it is indeed different. Luo Feng relied on the heavenly blade formation and movement to block, simultaneously observing and studying the opponent on how he used the Nanshan armament. Firstly, his 9 blades fusion is more condensed. This reflects his stronger understanding of the raindrop picture. Secondly, after his 9 blades have fused, his attacks are unpredictable and the blades' forms within constantly change. This is extremely mystical. So if I just relied on the 9 blades into one, I cannot block it. Luo Feng thought, obviously, his 9 blades into one, each of the 9 blades represents the raindrop picture's different forms, conditions, interchanging and profoundness. And I am not able to do this yet. My only strength is, I've already touched a thread of the origin law foundation. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed, all right, let's end it. In mid-air. The black-clothed man raged, if you have the skills, don't dodge. What's the point of dodging? Then, Luo Feng suddenly stopped, all the images completely disappeared. The black-clothed man was surprised but happy within. Go and die. Luo Feng coldly pointed at him. The huge golden blade Luo Feng was controlling wasn't as clumsy as before, but immediately followed a mysterious perfect arc. With unbelievable speed, it reached right before the black-clothed man's face. It was fast, too fast. What? Still lost in his surprise, the black-clothed man was shocked to discover that the opponent's huge golden blade had already reached before him. He barely managed to block it with the golden long rod on his back, using the entire long rod to block the blade. With a clash, the golden huge blade slightly moved and the incredibly sharp edge arced and brushed right through the man's head, immediately piercing through his head. The time spent on dissecting the foundation may take longer, requiring extremely high amounts of comprehension and conditions. However, its power, when compared to these simple superficial ways of usage, is much stronger. Luo Feng revealed a smile and looked ahead. The mist dissipated and the 4th level appeared, heading upwards. Rumble, in the distance ahead, Luo Feng could clearly see the bridge shrouded in a terrifying blade-like grey mist. Floating Blood once mentioned that passing the 3rd level is a breakthrough. I didn't expect that from the 4th level onwards, even the scenery changes. Luo Feng laughed as he flew up and rushed towards the grey squall. In the center of the beautiful island. That easily. Jade Emperor was shocked. It should not be that simple. He only managed to get a glimpse of the foundation of the law. It shouldn't be that simple to defeat the third level. Tongnan Emperor too was shocked. It's his consciousness. Truyang Emperor's eyes gleamed. His consciousness strength is a few times stronger than any other universe level 1 genius. And because of this, when he controls his weapon, its power is stronger by quite a bit than what's expected. Luo Feng's consciousness was the golden horned beast's consciousness. Strong. That was normal. While Truyang, Jade and Tongnan were discussing, waiting beside them was Bevan, who thought within, according the orders from above to promote competition amongst this batch of geniuses, I have to send this information out to Rong Jun, Jiulai Shi, Bolin etc. Watchman Bevan immediately sent the news of Luo Feng passing the third level to the group of geniuses training hard. Rong Jun, Jiulai Shi, Bolin, Qian Shui, Dao, Jiu Sai Luo, Wuke. They all received the news at exactly the same time. Rong Jun was within the training grounds in the primal universe. This was a luxurious universe city. Within a skyscraper's balcony. It's been over 10 years since we've come to Primal Chaos City. Barefooted, messy-haired Rong Jun, who wielded the ground-splitting blade, was standing at the top of the skyscraper, and was surveying the city below. This was a city he was extremely familiar with, and he had many good memories. Father. Rong Jun muttered softly. How long? How much longer will it take for me to become an undying and for me to regain the name Tumen? How long more before I can kill that bastard? Rong Jun said softly, Father, this is hard for me, my heart feels very heavy. His eyes were filled with tears. I have to bear with it. I will endure, in the virtual universe company. I will become the most exceptional talent in our generation. Right now compared to Bolin I am weaker. However, in 50 years, 100 years, 1000 years, I will definitely exceed him. Until finally, I will have the strength to personally kill that bastard myself. I will go to his imperial planet, break into his god country and destroy everything that belongs to him, allowing him to regret as he faces death. Gripping his fists, tears in his eyes. This grudge was carved into his soul, and he had to vent it out once in a while. Rumble. Rong Jun waved his hand. Immediately the simulated image disappeared, returning to the vast endless training grounds. This training ground had a length and width of a few hundred kilometers, and was even larger than Luo Feng's. Teacher demonstrated the first form for me. As long as I pass the third level, at least I can go listen to the classes from the others in the huge axe tablet sect. This will in turn increase my improvement speed even further. Rong Jun thought, with my strength, I should be able to pass the third level in the next couple of years. Right now, my only aim is to exceed Bolin. Rong Jun thought. As for the others, he felt no threat from them at all as he had passed the second level in his 4th year. This speed far exceeded everybody else. Rong Jun looked down curiously at the screen on his arm. On it displayed a new message, causing him to be suspicious. It's a mail from Watchman Bevan. Did someone else break through? Everybody else passed the second level after me, and the third level is much harder than the second. They can't be earlier than me. Is it Bolin? But Bolin just passed the 4th level half a year ago. As it goes further, the difficulty rises greatly. It'll be at least 10 years before he has any hopes of passing the 5th level. Filled with curiosity, Rong Jun ordered, open. The mail automatically opened. Luo Feng, for whom this was the first time attempting the Heavenly Bridge in 10 years, had just passed both second and third levels. He is now attempting the 4th level. Rong Jun immediately stared wide-eyed. My God. The third, he has passed the 3rd level. Rong Jun couldn't believe it. I passed both the 1st and 2nd levels earlier than him, and I even had a teacher to instruct me after. How can it be? Madman, Rong Jun stared wide-eyed, filled with shock. Heaven and ground region. In a particular villa garden, the black-robed Jiulai Shi appeared out of mid-air. There's a mail. Jiulai Shi pointed in mid-air and a screen appeared, a letter displayed, and he gently tapped to open it. The details of the mail were simple. Luo Feng, for whom this was the first time attempting the Heavenly Bridge in 10 years, had just passed both 2nd and 3rd levels. He is now attempting the 4th level. How can this be? In a villa right beside Jiulai Shi's, that fat huge warrior Dao too was shocked with rage as he looked at the screen, roaring, Madman, that madman, he actually attempted the bridge for the first time in 10 years and passed both the 2nd and 3rd levels. Madman, he's really mad. Not possible. The handsome absolute beginning member Jian Mo, who had green hair and engravings on his face, was shocked as he looked at the screen. I haven't even passed the 2nd level and he actually passed the 3rd. After Luo Feng's explosion, amongst the group of geniuses, Bolin had passed the 4th level and Rong Jun and the other 7 had passed the 2nd, everybody else had only passed the 1st. One had to know. Of the 7 who passed the 2nd level, Long Yun was in the primal region. Dao, Jiolai Shi and Jiu Sai Luo were from the heaven and ground region. The only ones from the absolute beginning were Rong Jun, Qian Shui and Wuke. That meant that the others that entered the absolute beginning region Jiang Mo, Lancelot and Ari Chen etc. were still stuck at the 1st level. Not possible. How can this madman improve so much? Our heaven and ground region has close to 100 people. Their difference from Luo Feng shouldn't be that huge. How can it be like this? When the news of Luo Feng's breakthrough spread, it made the group of geniuses that were secretly competing all stunned. Luo Feng had already begun his 4th level attempt. Amidst the dark squall, the bridge was engulfed in the mad winds. Luo Feng stood at the bridge and his eyes gazed at the distant end of the squall. From within a voice resounded, "Choose your opponent, fighter, controller, hypnotist, choose anyone, defeating him will allow you to attempt the 5th level." Controller. Luo Feng said directly. Rumble. A human silhouette suddenly flew out from the squall. Dressed in silver white armor, white boots and stepping on the dark cloud shuttle, while carrying a dark golden long rod, his eyes beneath the silver white mask were staring at Luo Feng. According to Floating Blood's calculations, the difficulty rises greatly as it goes further, and the jump in levels gets more and more absurd. Luo Feng thought, I don't know just how strong this 4th level is. As Floating Blood had several details on the heavenly bridge itself, Luo Feng had some estimates within. He was confident in passing the 3rd level before, as for the 4th, he didn't seem to have any guarantee at all. However, even without it, he still had to give it a shot. Silver-clothed person, I hope you use your strongest abilities. Luo Feng shouted. Strongest. The silver-clothed man stood on the dark cloud shuttle, saying solemnly, I only know one move, if you can block it, I will lose. You only know one move. Luo Feng was shocked. Receive it. The silver-clothed man pointed at Luo Feng. Simultaneously the dark golden long rod shot out countless blurry golden little blades. Right, it was simply a blur, large amounts of the blades immediately floated before him, infused with golden origin law threads, which were weaving and joining them. 1,600 little golden blades. Luo Feng's gaze swept over, very quickly counting accurately. When one's soul consciousness reaches Luo Feng's level, it may not be at AI level, but at least it would still be much stronger than the computers on Earth from his past. There are a total of 10,081 little blades in the Nan Shan armament. The 9 levels of the Nan Shan armament uses all of the blades to form one terrifying attack. Luo Feng thought, he's using 1,600 blades, then it should be the 4th form. The 3rd form was the heavenly blade, when using 9 true blades, every one of them consists of 81 little blades, hence the 3rd form alone uses a total of 729 little golden blades. The 4th form, optimum power, requires 1,600 little blades. This formed a close to 10 m tall golden pillar, almost like a pillar of a huge room. To be able to use this at the universe level 1, one would definitely be deemed invincible, and it would be hard to find any opponent at all. Before that silver-clothed man, the 1,600 little blades floated about with some distance. With countless complex golden threads weaving through them, the entire appearance of the pillar was extremely complex, almost like a totem pillar altogether. Nan Shan armament 4th form, optimum power. This, no wonder he only has one move. Luo Feng was staring with eyes wide open. The 4th form is extremely difficult. To form a totem pillar, the requirements on space and gold laws are extremely high. It means to completely put the blade domain into that totem pillar, and once unleashed, it will have unbelievable amounts of power. The totem pillar had extreme power. The moment it was formed, a casual swing could decimate a large mountain or ocean and create a tsunami. Receive it. The silver-clothed man roared. I will see just how strong this move is. Luo Feng stood on the dark cloud shuttle and unleashed his 100-thread movement. His movement was already mystical and perfect. While dodging, he swiftly unleashed the heavenly blade 9 blades into one. That golden huge blade immediately formed an arc and pierced towards the silver-clothed man. With some comprehension of the space law foundation, Luo Feng's attack was extremely fast. Before, when he used the illusionary 7 blades, Dutchman's pipe to pass the 2nd level, the opponent could only rely on his 2 blades to madly defend himself, basing his defense on luck to deflect Luo Feng's attacks. However, while the actual final pierce seemed simple, it was so fast the opponent couldn't even react. During the 3rd level, it was similarly absurdly fast, and along with his consciousness strength advantage, he killed his opponent. Rumble, the huge totem pillar began to roll. The surrounding space was instantly warped. At this point, the totem pillar rolling seemed to suppress the surrounding space. Peng. The pillar was simply too huge. With a slight roll, it closed a huge distance and clashed with Luo Feng's golden huge blade. With just one clash, the huge blade was immediately knocked apart and separated back into 9 blades. The totem pillar in mid-air immediately swept over, and the space warped around affecting Luo Feng's movement. It's too fast. Luo Feng couldn't even dodge, and the pillar immediately clashed with his body. 4th level, failure. Heavenly Bridge, center of the island. Truyang Emperor, Jade Emperor and Tongnan Emperor watched the screen floating before them. The battle was extremely short, and within a few seconds it was over. It's normal for him to lose. Truyang nodded. Tongnan spoke too. The Nanshan armament has a total of 9 forms. However, they are split into 3 main levels. The 1st form to 3rd form, the 4th to 6th and finally the 7th to 9th. The 3rd form is ultimately still based on the 1st level, and the 4th's power is obviously much higher. It's normal for him to lose. He's only been training in Primal Chaos City for 10 years, we can't expect too much. Jade smiled, just 10 years and he's gotten a glimpse of the essence of the space law, and his consciousness level is that strong. An unexpected surprise. This Luo Feng is an unexpected surprise from my trip here. He's even stronger than Rong Jun. From what I see, he might be able to surpass Bolin in the future. Truyang said. Ha ha. Still too early, don't get too cocky, Bolin has too much of a lead. Tongnan Emperor and Jade Emperor both laughed. Anyway, I'm expecting great things from him. Truyang said. At this time. At the center of the island, Rong Jun appeared, and following him, the fat warrior Dao, Wuka, many more started to appear. Truyang Emperor, Tongnan Emperor and Jade Emperor couldn't help but laugh as they saw the group of youths arrive. At that same time, they left the virtual universe and disappeared. Mr. Bevan. Wuka shouted, Luo Feng passed the 3rd level. A group of human youths of different races looked at Watchman Bevan. Watchman Bevan smiled, yes, just now. The 4th level. Savage Rong Jun asked. Immediately the group around him held their breaths. Luo Feng passing the 3rd level was already high enough. If he passed the 4th level too, the group would probably crumble. No matter how big the difference, it shouldn't be that huge. He was not successful. Watchman Bevan said. That's good. The group let out sighs of relief. At least he was still within range of chasing, however, after which many of them began feeling helpless. They were all absolute geniuses within the universe, and right now they were forced by someone to feel like they couldn't keep up. Before coming to Primal Chaos City, he and I didn't have too much of a difference in strength. But now, I can't even pass the 2nd level and yet, he's passed the 3rd already. Jiang Mo gripped his fists tight. Shrouded in chaos energy, the ancient city that had been around for trillions of years, Primal Chaos City. I'm really not used to long hair. Luo Feng waved his hand, a sharp energy wrapped around it and he swiftly cut his hair to its original short state, following which he jumped down from the balcony onto the alley. Luo Feng, you've successfully passed both the 2nd and 3rd level. You've been rewarded 6,000 points and another 2 chances to study the tablet. What are your plans? Within his mind Barbata's voice resounded. I've passed the 3rd level. Since that is the case, I have the right to go listen to the strong warriors give classes. Luo Feng smiled, as for the 6,000 points, I cannot waste them. It's only because I am a newcomer that I get 10 times the amount. When I leave Primal Chaos City, I am afraid that acquiring points would be extremely difficult. Points, I can only acquire them according to the Virtual Universe Company's methods, hence I have to save them. As for the 2 times of study, it's been about 10 years since I've studied the 9 Universe tablet. Since I have many questions by now, I'll go use one of those chances today. Luo Feng walked in the alley, very quickly reaching a main path. As for the 2nd chance, there's no rush at all. I'll use it in the future. His movement was like lightning, very quickly reaching the entrance of the city leader's residence. This territory was huge. Luo Feng followed the familiar paths quickly to the huge secret room alley. Following that route, he could see the huge bronze doors along the side, and he very quickly reached the one with the words 9 Universe. Lord Kandeli. Luo Feng bowed at the 3-eyed guard before the door. Kandeli smiled and nodded, after which he closed his eyes for a second and opened them. Not bad, you've improved quite a bit, you have 2 chances to study now. I'm prepared to use one now. Luo Feng emphasized. Your luck is good, there's no one inside right now. Kandeli smiled and pointed at the huge bronze door behind him. With a rumble, the door gradually opened and the thick chaos energy revolved within. The inside seemed like a complete blur. Luo Feng, however, was happy, thank you, Lord. He rushed into the secret training room. Within the room, the chaos energy revolved around a huge primal chaos tablet. Every chance to study this is extremely valuable. Even though there are many people in Primal Chaos City, occasionally requiring us to queue and wait to enter, however at times there's only me. Luo Feng immediately rushed to stand before the tablet. His gaze landing on the first picture of the tablet, the raindrop picture. That picture had 9 drops, and hiding within it was unbelievable amounts of power and mystery, immediately captivating Luo Feng's attention and consciousness within. At this time, Luo Feng's 3 bodies were all immersed in the raindrop picture. Every drop represented different simulations within their minds. However, there was only one drop that held no more mystery to Luo Feng. He had completely seen through and comprehended that one drop's foundation. Raindrop picture, there were a total of 9 drops and mysteries. When normal warriors studied the raindrop picture, as long as they understood each mystery, they could use it and that would be considered as passing. Luo Feng, however, was not satisfied with just that. He wanted to completely study its foundation and comprehend it fully. For example, in a test paper, there were normal questions and extra questions. Finishing all the normal ones would get 100 points. If one finishes all that and the extra ones too, they would get 150 points. Normal warriors' comprehension of the raindrop picture would usually only reach the 100 points level. And right now Luo Feng had about 90 points worth towards the other 8 drops. As for the 1 drop, he had reached the 150 points level. The 9 drops, if one understood all of them, normally they could pass the 3rd level. Luo Feng, however, had 8 of them close to a passing level, and 1 of them fully perfected. What I must do now is not to rush into studying the drizzling rain picture, but to completely reach the perfection level for the raindrop picture. Luo Feng was very clear on what he needed to do. While immersed within the 9 universe tablet, Luo Feng's large amount of comprehension of the it began to surface. The moment he reached a new height of comprehension, he couldn't help but smile. Come out. A voice entered his mind. Come out. Come out. Come out. Come out. The voice got louder constantly, resounding continuously within his mind, forcing Luo Feng to awake from that mystical dream world within and grit his teeth and fly out. What a pity, it's time again. Outside the room, there were already 3 people waiting. What a pity. If only I could stay in there longer. Luo Feng walked along the alley outside the residence. He felt a sense of longing to return in. Studying the tablet was simply too wonderful a feeling. It wasn't the same as the usual mentally tiring study. There wasn't any sense of fatigue at all while staring at the tablet. Even to the point where one didn't have to actively study it. But as long as one got captivated by it, that alone led to much of the comprehension. Right now, as far as the other 8 wonders of the raindrop picture are concerned, I should have passed. Luo Feng thought. If they were considered to be at a level of 90 points before, right now they should all be 100. However, my aim is to get all of them to be at a level of 150 points. Luo Feng smiled. The further he went, the harder it became. The extra questions were always much harder than the normal ones. The reasoning for this was that comprehending the entire foundation compared to simply using it, the difficulty was much higher. Breathe, Luo Feng looked up at the sky. He hadn't been this relaxed in a long time. Looking at the distant sky, its many crystal threads were weaving in between the spaces, and the complex large amounts of engravings revolved. The universe was such a vast thing. Its laws were in plain sight for others to see right now, however even with it revealed, understanding it still required a very long time. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Finally broken through. Luo Feng became a blur and rushed to his own training quarters not far from the city leader's residence, within the resting room. Luo Feng's internal world. Within the vast golden continent, the Black Mountain-like golden horned beast and the Mosha clan black-clothed Luo Feng were all looking at the sky with glee. It's finally breaking through. Finally breaking through to the Domain Lord level. From the universe level 9 to the Domain Lord level, normal evolution would require about 500 years, at times plus, or minus 100 years, there was no definite number. And Luo Feng, using the optimum metal groupings, had raised the evolution and internal world expansion to a efficiency of 56 times. In theory, Luo Feng's 7th or 8th year in the Primal Chaos City should have been the year of the beast's breakthrough. However, it was late, a total of 3 years. One of the reasons was because the evolution took more time. However, the second reason was that it was Luo Feng's fault altogether. As Luo Feng was immersed in his study the past 10 years, the 3 bodies all were training rigorously. Every time he awoke was usually once between 3 to 4 months. The internal world's swallowing of metals was like one's meals. It required frequent doses. Just like a normal person starving for 3 days, after 3 days he'd still be unable to take all 3 days' worth of food in one go. One theory. The internal world's one large intake of metals could usually last for 1 to 2 months. However, as Luo Feng's study normally took 3 to 4 months, every time he woke up, he could only let it at most consume another 1 to 2 months worth of metals. This slowed down the evolution speed. Luo Feng's studying was extremely important. Since Barbata didn't dare disturb him in critical times, this naturally happened. And whether it was Luo Feng or Barbata, they were both very clear. These 30 years in the primal chaos city were very important. He had to use his full strength to study. As for the delay of 2 to 3 years for the golden horned beast to evolve, that was still a negligible matter. Studying the laws was the more important factor. Rumble, countless golden fogs and energies covered the vast continent. The continent expanded continuously, large amounts of the continent appeared. It took a while for all the tectonic plates to completely form. Everything went silent. The internal world's evolution was a success. From the 9,000 kilometers length and width from before, it had suddenly expanded to 100,000 kilometers. Luo Feng's core within. Within the core, the Whirlpool Galaxy was beautiful. At its core was a big black hole, with 8 arms and 8 little black holes. After the successful evolution of the internal world, immediately the Whirlpool Galaxy began to change at a shocking rate. Rumble. The center black hole along with the 8 other black holes' strength in swallowing began to rise greatly. The surrounding planets and stars began to all get swallowed up, especially since the center black hole grew bigger and bigger, slowly, even though the other little ones were getting drawn to the center. Swallow. The center black hole began to swallow all that it could, getting even bigger and gradually joining with the other 8. At this time, the Whirlpool Galaxy had completely vanished, leaving behind one huge black hole. Rumble. The extra large black hole suddenly violently crumbled. The entire black area began to shrink within the core. Its shrinking was visible even to the naked eye. This black hole collapse was heart-trembling. In the blink of an eye, the entire black hole had vanished, and in that spot where the center black hole was, a grey round ball had appeared. The grey round ball was like a shedding snake. One layer of the grey outer shell shed off, and this outer layer began to expand and inflate. Bigger and bigger. The outer shell continued to grow, until it was as large as the entire core, and later it grew until the ball's shell even began to fuse with the core itself completely without a sound. This caused Luo Feng's core, internal core, to go through a special change. As the core began to change, the 2 bodies within the internal world too changed. The Golden Horned Beast and the Mosha clan simultaneously evolved. The Golden Horned Beast, which was like a huge black mountain, slowly extended its scaled wings. Simultaneously a shocking change began to happen to its entire body as large amounts of golden fog descended from the skies down low, shrouding the entire scaled surface of the beast. As its body continued to absorb it, one could see with the naked eye as the black dense scales grew in size. Its bones also got thicker and larger, even more condensed. Its claws grew stronger and sharper. Like an armor that covered its entire body, the golden engravings grew along with the body. Not just the exterior, but the internal parts of the Golden Horned Beast too had changes that were even more shocking. Every cell and every bone began to go through an earth-shattering amount of change, a change that occurred right from the very essence within. Universe level to domain lord level, it was a huge evolution in the body's essence. Howl. The Golden Horned Beast raised its head and let out a carefree howl. Not far from what had just happened, a black life crystal filled with incomparably complex golden engravings on its surface began to shoot out golden beams of light. This was the Mosha clan's true appearance. The Mosha clan was basically a life crystal. The energy it released allowed it to take any shape or form. Hence, the Mosha clan's evolution in truth was an evolution of the life crystal. Since their life forms were completely different, their evolutions were different too. For flesh and blood life forms, the main thing was for the body to evolve at the same time as the soul. And for the energy life forms, the life core had to evolve. And the Mosha clan's core was a being of this life crystal. With training, the life crystal could absorb more energy to change its body. Just like a human's body evolution, this life crystal too could get stronger and more solid and durable. However, its evolution process also had a bottleneck. It required willpower, the life crystal, genetic energy, and many other factors working together for it to break through. However, Luo Feng's Mosha clan was unlike the others. As the core of this Mosha clan was not the life crystal, even if this was destroyed, it could still regenerate. Luo Feng's 3 main bodies weren't important, as they all relied on the main core within. As long as that was fine, they wouldn't die, but if that was destroyed, the 3 great bodies would die. Right now the main core's soul had broken through to Domain Lord level 1. Hence, the 3 bodies could all train to that level. The only problematic one was the physical bodies. The Earth human body had a very slow evolution. As for the life crystal, it could evolve extremely quickly with limitless energy absorption. However, the golden horned beast evolved the fastest. Ding! After a few hours, the revolving black life crystal began to emit noises. The entire life crystal had shrunk an entire size. Hoo-hoo! From within the crystal, large amounts of black energy were emitted and later formed a person, a black-clothed Luo Feng. Primal Chaos City, Luo Feng was within his training quarters resting room. Domain Lord. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. No wonder the slave traders don't have any Domain Lord level slaves. From the universe level to the Domain Lord level, the galaxy within will get completely swallowed by the black hole. This was nothing short of a miracle. This was that grey round ball that was within his internal core when he evolved, that represented the step into Domain Lord level. That miracle dot, even though it was extremely small, it was incredibly heavy. In theory, as an extremely small dot that was formed from swallowing countless galaxies, an internal world would be produced and nurtured. This was the process of Domain Lord level 1 to 9. Once the nurturing was successful, a change would happen right at its very core, and the world within would form a true world. That would be the Sector Lord level. Sector Lord, with a true world within, could at a wave of one hand have the power of a world itself. The world of a Sector Lord could actually allow people to survive, store items, etc., similar to a real world. The internal world of a golden horned beast, however, was special. As every single living thing or item placed within would get digested. If too much was placed within and it couldn't digest it, the internal space would explode from it. This internal world would gradually grow. Until Sector Lord level, this was when the internal world would undergo a change in its essence. Only at that time could it allow humans and items to be placed within. And now, it only allowed Luo Feng's body to enter. The golden horned beast's talents are incredible. Its inherited memories are even more shocking, and its lifespan is 10 times that of a human Sector Lord. Yet after many generations of golden horned beast, it is still extremely difficult for them to break through to undying. Many die at the pinnacle of Sector Lords. Luo Feng understood one thing during the evolution to Domain Lord earlier. One had to know. For a Sector Lord to become undying, one had to break his internal world from the shackles, melding it with the crevices within the universe space itself, forming a stable and powerful space, God country. Breaking the shackles. These shackles were the miracle dot from before. This dot would constantly get more condensed as it grew, getting more and more solid. Hence breaking it would be extremely difficult. However, the golden horned beast had it even harder, 10 to 100 times harder than a human. As the golden horned beast naturally had a miracle dot from when it was born, the main core within would establish the internal world. Hence, when Luo Feng reached the Domain Lord level, when the galaxies within crumbled into the black hole and formed the dot, this dot actually broke through its shell and fused with the main core. As time passed, the dot became one with the main core itself. This was because they were originally one body. The main core after fusing was even more solid, much more solid than a normal human's dot. Domain Lord level 1 golden horned beast. Its internal world has a length and width of 100,000 kilometers. Luo Feng exclaimed, when it reaches Sector Lord, what would that be like? The bigger the internal space, the better. However, it also represented that the main core within was even more solid. When Luo Feng reaches the Sector Lord level 9, against an immovable main core, he would know why generations of golden horned beast were helpless against it. Breaking the shackles. I have to form a god country with my internal world and space itself. However, this is only the last requirement to becoming undying. There are many preceding it. Luo Feng shook his head, becoming undying. I'm only at the Domain Lord level now. The distance is still very far, I'll slowly train. Lian Luo, who created the floating blood, he became an undying in less than 100,000 years, immediately gaining the title official. Is it possible that even though I have 10 times the lifespan of a human Sector Lord, I can't become undying with that? With that thought, Luo Feng laughed. Life only has one core and one internal world. Luo Feng's 3 bodies share one core and one internal world. They thrived together and fell together. Master, there's someone here to see you. An electronic voice resounded within the training quarters. Luo Feng got up and walked out of the resting room. Opening the door to the living room, outside stood a tall lady dressed in a black robe. Her pupils were purple. Black-robed warrior. Luo Feng thought. Luo Feng, congratulations on passing the 3rd level of the Heavenly Bridge. The black-robed lady smiled. In Primal Chaos City, as long as one passes the 3rd level, it represents that one has reached a certain level in the study of the tablets. Thus, they have earned the right to listen to the sect leaders' lessons. These are the 18 sub-sect leaders in the 9-universe sect and their information. You can go to any one of them to listen to their classes. Following which, she handed over a black surfaced book about as thick as one's thumb. Thank you. Luo Feng received. Some advice, even though you can go to anyone to listen, your first visit and who you pick is extremely important. The black-robed lady emphasized, I believe that the book explains the details within, I shall not speak more. Luo Feng nodded. Following which he watched as this messenger of the city leader left. Listen to classes. There was no rush now. After all, he had just studied hard for 10 years, passing 2 levels continuously, plus he just broke through to the domain lord level. At this time of glee, Luo Feng really wanted to share everything with his family. His eyes were filled with anticipation. It's been a while since I visited my family. I should go see them. Virtual Universe Network, Ganwu Continent. Ganwu Continent's Meng Ka city was an extremely huge city, larger than the Black Dragon Mountain Island by 10 times. Pinghai Company was considered a larger company within this city, ranking amongst the top 100. Pinghai Company's skyscraper, level 86, meeting room. How do you do? Very nice to meet you, Mrs. Luo. It's my honor to be able to meet the Virtual Universe Company's Meng Ka Station, Bo Ti Lai Bureau Chief. Dressed in a red Chinese robe, Shushin was shaking hands with a tall and huge sharp-nosed man. The two of them sat at the two ends of the conference table within the meeting room. Accurately speaking, it's Bo Ti Lai Sai Bureau Chief. The sharp-nosed man smiled, ha ha, I believe this talk should not have too much stress on Mrs. Luo. Your husband is a high-level member within our Virtual Universe Company. Your Pinghai Company becoming one of our flagship companies has many benefits for you. Shushin smiled, my husband may be a majority stockholder, but I decide everything. Mrs. Luo, whatever you have on your mind, just speak. Bo Ti Lai smiled, if everybody simply speaks their mind, anything can be discussed. Firstly, this company has to be controlled by me. Shushin emphasized. Mrs. Luo. Bo Ti Lai smiled, you should know that our Virtual Universe Company, when we buy into such companies with potential, we have to have a certain amount of controlling shares. The lowest we ever go is still 51% of the shares. I understand. I'm only saying that the company has to still be run by me. Your company cannot interfere with the operation, but can only enjoy the benefits and returns. Shushin said. Ah? Bo Ti Lai nodded, continue. I believe you know too. Shushin smiled, our Pinghai Company has 3 main businesses. The main one being the chain of restaurant management, the second being the financial investments, the third being real estate. Just my little brother Luo Hua, even the Universe First Bank, has even sent people to headhunt him before. This profitability, you should already know. Pinghai Company's investment abilities, I'm very clear of it. Bo Ti Lai smiled, this is also the reason behind my company giving you 6 times the usual price. No, I require 12 times. Shushin looked at Bo Ti Lai. I believe Mr. Bo Ti Lai should understand the complexity behind my Pinghai Company's restaurant business. 12 times? Definitely not. Bo Ti Lai shook his head. Mr. Bo Ti Lai. Shushin was just about to continue speaking. Suddenly she lowered her head to look at her wrist. On it a small message appeared on the screen. She couldn't help but smile with glee. His finally returned to visit. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.